Here we go. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 on Ruins of Seras. This is going to be PvZ representing our P. Our Protoss in this is going to be rivals BowmanSX. And over here on the left-hand side will be our Zerg player, DasDuelon. And this is between our Protoss player is a Grandmaster player, and DasDuelon is a Masters level player who probably trying to get his Grandmaster level rank up here pretty quick. So good luck to him. He's going to send his Overlord out to scout the bottom position right away, so he should be able to get over there before his drone scout. If he chooses to send a drone scout out, he'll get his Overlord down there before it's time to send the drone scout out, so he should scout his opponent pretty quickly. Sending the next Overlord, it looks like, to scout horizontal positions, and he's just going to go for that hatchery down at the natural right away. So he's going hatch before pool. Very, very common. The question is, will he go for 3 hatch before pool? Because this is a 4-player map, you can kind of get away with a little bit more greed than you normally would. We can see that our Protoss player here does have his assimilator down, but he's not even mining from it yet. So that's kind of a strange choice, but he doesn't have any gateway up. He's going to go for his natural expansion before his gateway. And there we go, he's putting people in, so he was just waiting for his minerals to get all saturated, and then he's going to go ahead and rally the rest of his workers in there. So he's making sure he's prioritizing mineral income above gas income, but he's making sure that he's not getting above that ideal saturation. So he's going to throw down his other gas now. Almost perfectly timed for these. Once this gas is filled, the other gas will finish up, and he can start rallying him in there. Really nice timing. Protoss player does scout his opponent on the first, at his first location. That's going to prompt Zerg player to give the GLHF. The game is just beginning. So, did he see, though, that there's a third base up yet? He hasn't scouted that yet, but seeing how late the pool is, I'm sure that he's got a pretty good idea that that has happened. Bowman responding with good luck. No have fun, so this is a job for him, or he at least wants it to be a job for DasDuelon here. But we'll see. His Overlord made it about halfway across now, but he's going to see this pro going back to his own base, so I'm pretty sure he knows the location of his opponent by now as well, or at least has a good idea. You can never really trust it, you know, mind games and all that, but I think he's probably got a pretty safe bet that his opponent is spawning in horizontal positions. So it's a little bit closer by ground to get from natural to natural, and that does mean that the player did take the best third that he possibly could for that, but he did scout, I guess, he did scout vertical positions, so that would be the only time that you want to take this as your third, I think, as a Zerg player. And let me pull up the production tab, might help. We've got Mothership Core on the way now, so he's going to be able to hold off any kind of aggression. The distance between the ramp and the natural on this map is pretty large, so early Zergling pressure can be kind of a trick to deal with. But he, again, Bowman, great scouting, saw that this spawning pool was going to be very, very late, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about getting up a wall extremely early. He does have a wall in his main, so he's able to kind of hold off any kind of crazy aggression that would come up. As Zergling gets a couple of shots off on him, and he's going to finish out his scout here. Will the Mothership Core be able to finish him off? I believe it should be able to, as long as it's already in motion, but it does stop and gets taken out anyway. Adept filling in that hole. So either way, that Zergling wouldn't have been able to see very much. These 2 Zealots going to run in here, and the Adepts might be able to catch up here pretty quickly and give a little bit of assistance to these. So Zealot's going to run down here, see if they can take out this Queen. The Queen's going to run away, but there are 2 Queens, so if microed properly, there should be there shouldn't be any shots even landed by these Zealots. But the Adepts are here to assist now, so we'll see what happens. The Zerglings getting taken out really, really quickly, but the Zealots, or the Zerglings getting taken out very, very quickly, but the Zealots just standing behind, watching it all unfold. And the Adept's going to see if they can get a couple of free drone kills. Will he let this finish? He does, and he focuses down 1 drone. He's going to take a little bit of damage. He takes out one of the larvae as well. Another drone goes down, and a 3rd drone. But he's going to lose the life of both of these Adepts for that, so not a terrible trade for either player. It is nice to get drone kills when you can, but I don't think that was as devastating as Bowman would have liked. A couple of sentries out on the field now, and he's going to go over with 4 sentries. So this is a very, if he's doing what I think he's doing, no, he's going to here. So I'm not sure what the plan is, but a lot of Protoss players have been doing this where they drop the 4 sentries into the main, go into Warp Prism mode, and they warp in a bunch of units. Right now there's only 2 gateways finished. He's got a lot more on the way though, so he's going to have 5 total. And then you just force field off the ramp, and It's really nice when your opponent doesn't have any roaches out, which we see a Spire coming down now, so there's he's gonna skip Roach Tech. Oh no, he's not. He has a Roach Warren on the way. So Roach Warren's about to finish up, but it looks like he's gonna go in for some quick. Ooh, nice force fields there, locking these Zerglings into this little corner here, and they're just gonna get taken out one by one by these Adepts. It is nice that he pulls the Zerglings back into the corner, so he's able to save a lot of those because the Adepts just don't have the range for it. They're still on hold position, and now that the force fields are down, they're just going to finish these off. And the Zergling's going to try to run out. Looks like he's going to save none of them. So nice force fields there, but that was quite a bit of time spent, and now these other gateways finally kicking into production here. We've got 6 Roaches on the way, and he could take a lot of damage from this. We've got Immortals here, we've got Adepts, and this could be the end of the game here. He's got the counter basically to everything the Zerg player has. The Spire's not quite yet finished, which might be a saving grace if you can just hold on until that gets out. There's not really anything that shoots up other than these sentries, but they don't do a lot of damage. This Mothership Core getting dangerously low. The real thing that he wants to be focusing is this Warp Prism node. It'll end the reinforcements, and there he goes. He's focusing it down with the Queens, but the Protoss unit's now focusing down the Queens. Are the Queens going to be able to finish it off? Nice Transfuse there going down, and it's going to heal this Queen back up to full, and the Warp Prism does go down. So now all the Zerg player has to do is hold this force off, and he takes out the Immortal, and that's going to mean that these Roaches are going to do a lot more damage now. Evolution Chamber gets taken out, not a huge deal. It means upgrade's going to be a little bit later, but again, not the end of the world. And these Roaches focusing down some of the Adepts, but the Adepts are going to try to shade into the main here, so now the Zerg player has to make a decision. Is he going to defend his main or his natural? A couple of Adepts breaking off to try to pick off some drones here in the natural as well. A lot of the sentries, the real heavy, expensive units are going to get out of here. The drones forced to evacuate from the natural, and so many drones just dying up here in the main as well. So far, we've got 12 workers killed now for the Protoss player. These Roaches finally getting in here, and they should be able to finish off these Adepts, no problem. But in the natural, these Adepts still doing a ton of work. This one Roach trying to do what he can. 17 workers now have fallen. It looks like it's going to be one more. So we have a total of 18 workers lost. Taking a look at the income, we see the Protoss player is now ahead 9 workers, and he's got a nice army to boot. Nice creep spread over here from this Overlord. Going to delay this expansion just a little bit, but creep proceeds so fast now. I'm not even sure that was worth it to lose that Overlord for that small delay. Paladin going down to set up their initial defensive position here. And I think that would have meant that Protoss would have seen that. He knows that the Spire's there, so he's going to be able to prepare for this. But it doesn't look like he really is taking that threat too seriously. He's got a couple of Stalkers. So we'll see what the plan is. I'm not sure what he's getting Corruptors out, which is not real sure why he's preferring Corruptors over Mutalisks, but we'll see what he has planned. There's a couple of Corruptors flying up along the north side here. Is he gonna try to maybe flank with them and take out the Warp Prism as quickly as possible, and then just let his ground forces overwhelm? I guess we'll have to see. We've got a couple of Ravagers in the mix now, so if he lands these shots, then he's got a really good chance of doing well with this. And it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot of Zerg units, though. He's got the Queens in the mix, so he can get a couple of Transfuses down. He's trying to set up a nice concave here with his units reinforcing from the top. Ravager shots going down, but the Corrosive Battle just not hitting. Oh, there we go. Nice shot there. Warp Prism is weakened a little bit, but these Corruptors up here still not doing anything. And a couple more force fields going down, really separating this force off. But it looks like the Zerg player is pushing this back with a nice surround, taking this Immortal down really, really low, and there will be the recall at the very last minute. And the Corruptors just sitting here using what is that called? I haven't even seen that. Caustic Spray. I have never seen this used. That's so awesome. He's actually going to take out this Nexus with Corruptors. That is awesome. And he doesn't lose any Corruptors for that either. What an awesome move. So we've now got 2 mining bases for the Protoss player. We've got 3 mining bases for the Zerg player. That is so awesome. I've always wondered if that was actually something that that was worth doing. Damage percent. Okay, so that's crazy. I mean, I wonder what the math is. I wonder why he picked 5 Corruptors for that. That's cool. So now anytime the Protoss player moves out, he's just going to go in and take out a Nexus basically with these couple of Corruptors. He doesn't have to worry about any kind of the Corruptors take a good beating too. So we go. He's taking out the pylons now. He's going to unpower all this with only 2 pylons powering all these gateways and robotics facilities. It looks like, there we go. A lot of them fall there, and the rest of them get unpowered as well. A couple more pylons on the way. The Stalker's moving up to try to defend this. This is absolutely incredible. I love seeing stuff like this where he's... I mean, I don't know if this is a thing, but I have not seen this. in any games. But what a great way to put the Protoss player on the back foot here, like a really non-traditional way of harassing. But we do have a Lurker Den now, and those are so devastating to Protoss ground forces. We've got charge on the way, a good amount of charge lots. Getting us around on Lurkers is really the only way that any ground forces can deal with this, outside of getting some really clean disruptor shots off. Corrosive Bow going down, and it looked like it was going to hit, but a nice pullback there from the Protoss player, and he's going to try to finish off this cannon. And nice force fields going down. Zerg player trying to walk around them, and he will eventually get around them. He gets the Corrosive Bow down and knocks out the rest of those force fields. Photon Overcharge going down on this pylon here. But meanwhile, these Corruptors focusing down this Nexus in the main. A couple of Zealots down here going to take out this hatchery as well, but this main Nexus does fall. And the Corruptor is going to retreat now. This hatchery does get canceled, and the Zealots are going to run away. And we'll get picked off by these roaches here, so the Zerg player can just put this hatchery back up. A big warp in the main, going to take out a lot of Zerglings so far, and he's going to pick up the remaining Zealots and get out of there before any real damage happens to them. So Protoss player struggling to keep 3 mining bases. Going to get the Dark Shrine down. Really good choice. I don't see any detection out on the map at all. We do have a couple of spines going down in the main, but he's going to need that detection. Does he have any Overseers? He does have 2 Overseers, but they're both with the main army, so... Oh man, these Corruptors coming back in once again, and I don't think he's going to be able to finish this off. I think he should just cancel this and get out of there. He's going to lose a couple of Corruptors here. 2 of them go down. I mean, I think he needs to focus a little bit with those. Like, when he was doing them with like a split of 2 and 3 to take out 2 pylons, I think worked really well. Sword Prism just chilling out here, making a constant threat, but there's a nice setup of... Oh, look at these Mulists trying to find this Warp Prism, and I don't think he saw that there. And the Warp Prism going to come up along the top here. The Dark Shrine is getting really close to finishing, so I imagine he's going to run in, drop off these Zealots, and then warp in DTs behind that. But here he comes into the natural. Dark Shrine is seconds away from finishing, and the Warp Prism just going to park there. Does DasDuelon see this yet? He should by now, and there go the Zealots warping on in. And the Warp Prism forced to retreat. He does pick up the rest of his Zealots, and he gets out of there. The Dark Templar will be available here in 1 second. There we go. The Dark Shrine has finished up. Protoss ground weapons level 3. A little over halfway done. And looking at Zerg upgrades, we've got Ground Carapace level 1, but we've got 2-2 out for the Protoss player, so he does have that upgrade advantage. He's also getting Shields level 1. He's getting... So... Mutalisks are going to knock down this Warp Prism, so I think that's going to do better for them than he imagines with these Dark Templar Warpins. But the Dark Templar are going to be walking in here now, heading straight in here. And the Overseers with the main army will pick off that Dark Templar, but 4 Dark Templar are going to try to focus down this 4th base here. And they're going to actually start going for the drones, and a lot of drones falling now. Looking at 27 drones killed in total. That one has 2, that one has 2, 2, and 3, so... What is 6? 9 workers killed in total by these Dark Templar, and they finish off the base. Now we've got to wait for these Overseers to come down here. We've got Overlord Speed on the way to help kind of deal with these multi-pronged Dark Templar drops, and he does block the pathing for these Dark Templars, so he will pick them off eventually. Nice job there. Almost loses a couple of Ravagers, but he manages to keep those alive. 4th base now completed for the Protoss player. He's going to go heavy Stargate transitions. We're going to see some Golden Armada after this, and making sure that he doesn't lose power to those Stargates. And it looks like I completely missed the Corruptors getting picked off there, unless he moved them back with the main army. Doesn't look like he did. So the Corruptors are somewhere. We've got a couple of Mutalisks still hanging out back here, gloating from their victory versus the Warp Prism. And these 3 Dark Templar are going to see if they can make something happen here. We do have 3 Spine Crawlers and a Spore Crawler down, so I don't think they'll be able to get anything done there. Zerg player moving in here. Big force fields coming down. Nice positioning by the Protoss player, but the Zerg player now actually gets gets 1 Immortal for free. The Lurker's in a nice position, and it looks like he's going to be able to set up siege here between the 3rd and the natural for the Protoss player. He's just got to back off and play this very conservatively, let the Lurkers do the work that they need to do. The Lurker's getting huge shots. You can just see the Protoss army evaporating there, blinking back to do what he can, but now he's really stuck in a position where he can't connect his 2 forces. Overseers coming in here, and a couple of Stalkers getting focused down as they warp in. Nice blinks back. He might be able to hold this part off here. Overcharge will force these roaches back, but then they get into Lurker range, and there's nothing he can really do. He really needs these Stargates to finish up, so Stargates are completed, and 1 Corruptor remains, and he's going to try to kill this Nexus. And that is a channeled ability. I don't know if the Protoss player has enough attention to be able to take care of that right now, and he's trying to warp in whatever he can, but he's just really starved for gas right now. He's got a couple of Dark Templar. He's going to try to do what he can, but 3 Overseers in the army. I don't really think that the Dark Templar are the best choice unless he has an answer to take out these quickly. And the Warp Prism does get taken out. More and more reinforcements streaming in here, and the Dark Shrine is down. No more Dark Templar coming out. And the Zerg player has completely halted production, and the Dark Templar get taken out. Upgrades about to finish for the Protoss player. 4 Void Rays on the way. There's not a lot that shoots up here for the Protoss or for the Zerg army, so we might actually be able to hold this off eventually. But I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to take a long time for 4 Void Rays to finish off all these units. You might be able to get in here and pick off the Lurkers, which would really help him be able to transition into a ground army again. But he's going to take another base behind this, so it looks like he's just going to kind of try to sack what he has right now. Let the Lurkers take out this natural, and probably try to stop them before they go up into the main base, because that's where he's got a lot of his tech. And the Zerglings can come down here and see if they can finish it off, but I think the Void Rays are going to be not what the Zerg player wants to see, but now he has to really micro these Void Rays, and 1 Void Ray gets picked off as it's warping in. The pylon's getting targeted down to stop the production from these Stargates, and if that does happen, then he's taken out, and it looks like Bowman was a little bit impressed, I imagine, by the Corruptor caustic spray there. But really intense game. Nice try from Bowman there. That was really fun to see. I think if he would have had his Stargate transition up a little bit sooner, he would have been in a much better position, but really well played by the Zerg player.